What ho, chaps? How the devil? Welcome to the BBC Spews Live. It is the 28th of April, 2022. Just another day in the madness that we call Upside Down Reality 2022. Great news today. We're sending another $33 billion to help Ukraine in the fucking war. It's lunacy, isn't it? I'm now an American taxpayer, and it does offend me that I'm spending quite as much money as I am on a fucking. I mean, really, why don't we just cut with the pretense? Just say, "Fuck it, we're at war with Russia." Like, I don't understand. I know it was the Cold War, and everybody knew it was going on, but this is just madness. It's unending. I feel as if the conspiracy theorists are right about that as well. How it's all linked. Like the whole pandemic thing was sort of like the opening shots, the opening salvo in World War III, and it's just never got better, has it? It's deeply concerning that printing money to pay all your debts off, and then not just pay your debts off, give it to people for free, took place to such a massive extent for 2 years, and then it's just got worse ever since. It is money laundering, which is Kev Keener says. It is money laundering. And I've made this point before because politicians can't just give themselves the taxpayers' money. So what they do is they work it through the taxpayers' system and then distribute the funds to companies that have bunged the politicians. And then the companies give it to the politicians. But basically, that's our money. And they're just adding a middleman. I mean, because Biden can't just print money and then put it straight in his bank account. So what he does is he prints money, spends it with private companies, and then they give him the money. I mean, it's quite bizarre that people think that that's in any way subtle or manipulative. It's as blatant as a boot in the plums with a size 10 worky boot. And it staggers me that we're just, who cares? I mean, the British government with what happened during the pandemic, it was blatantly obvious. They get backhanders off the pharmaceutical companies, don't they? I mean, everybody knows it. There's numerous instances came to light in the media, and people have discussed that, how all these different politicians have been getting backhanders off these companies. They're personally profiting from the pandemic. I think, was it Hancock who was related to some twat who had a PPE company, and they all start bidding for it, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I'll bid for this," and then sure enough, it gets given to the company that has the tendrils in the House of Commons, and then when that company gets shitloads of money, that's perfectly legal. The Americans are actually worse than the Brits are, aren't they? Because in the UK, I know there's legal hurdles, like politicians they're only allowed to own a certain amount of stock in public companies, aren't they? Whereas I think in the United States, there's no fucking laws. So, like, the Iraq War was a really good example, wasn't it? Dick Cheney and Bush and Rumsfeld and all these people, they personally have a dog in the hunt, because when their company, Halliburton, is going to make money from a conflict, then you can't expect the politicians to vote in good faith on a conflict. I.e., should we get involved in a conflict that will personally make me a shitload of money? Yeah, we definitely should. Of course, it's a conflict of interest. I mean, it's staggering to me what's gone on here. So they all have shares in the companies that sell to fucking send arms to Ukraine. And funny old thing, they just keep sending tens. I mean, that is not a small amount of money, $33 billion. Have you noticed how they don't get a discount as well? You know, like if you're a normal person and you go to like a fucking company and you say, I want a settee. And they go, oh yeah, you got, what's it called? The one who's always got they've got an endless 12-month sale on. Like DSS, or not DSS, that's where all the dollies go. DFS. No, where they've got a sale on 12 months a year. If you go in there and say, listen, I want a couch, how much? And they say 300 quid. But then you say, how about I'll buy 100 couches and I'll give you 200 quid for a couch? They go, oh, go on then. They don't even do that. Like, you would think Raytheon, they're like, I'll tell you what, we're going to need to buy another $20 billion worth of missiles off you. Can we have a bit of a discount? Yeah. Like, they don't even get a discount. Do they not even haggle? Because they want to get more money. I'd be haggling me. If I was going to drop $20 billion, I'd be like, surely you can throw in a fucking few grenades. Do you know what I mean? You'd think you'd do the basics. $20 billion worth of surface-to-air missiles? I'll tell you what, fling in 4 grenades and we'll shake hands on it. Like that type of thing. We don't even do basic haggling. So that's what's mad about it. That made me laugh as well. I'm aware this is satire, obviously, but it still made me laugh. Look at this one. Raytheon. Few people realise the RIM-7 Sea Sparrow is the most environmentally friendly anti-aircraft missile produced anywhere. We're proud of our commitment to a better future for all the children of the world. Do good things, be greener with Raytheon. Funny, isn't it? Because that's the type of shit that they would type nowadays. I mean, I'm sure that is taking the piss. But yeah, in this day and age, it makes sense, doesn't it? Because all these big companies are so desperate to appear woke and fall into that rubric of, you know, woke. Everybody knows what they believe. This is what I've said. This is how you know their ideologues, because you know what they believe on every position. You know what the woke twats, AOC, all these politicians, you know what they think about everything. You never meet anybody who's woke who's skeptical about climate change, do you ever? You never meet anybody who's woke who's skeptical about trans ideology, or skeptical about putting children on hormone blockers, or skeptical about, well, any fucking thing, any hot topic issue. They agree uniformly, and that's what I've said to you guys who tune into this show. It's like, you can see that you're a free thinker when you have strong disagreements with people that you loosely affiliate yourself with politically. Like, the real umbrella is not the intersectionality umbrella, because everybody who's woke agrees on absolutely everything. The real umbrella is everybody who isn't woke, which is centre left, centre right, very right, nationalist. Those people can disagree on issues, and you still have something binding you, which is fucking logic and common sense, is the way I see it. Well, that's why that's funny satirical post, isn't it? Because that's what they like nowadays. You've got like Apple, who are, by all accounts, a reprehensible company, or Disney. I mean, Disney, fuck me. Disney has been famous for, like, when I was a teenager, I remember one of my girlfriends telling me that she was learning about it at college, about Disney, saying, oh, they're all like Nazis and shit. Like, Disney have been reprehensible for a century. And yet they all do the woke thing, don't they? So that is comedy, but it's obviously quite funny, has the ring of truth to it. Because they're just fucking mad. Like, what relevance is LGBTQ plus IA got to do with making cartoons for kids? Or fucking, it could be anything. It could be munitions, printing books. You could be a company that makes soap, and they'll go on Twitter and say, love trumps hate. Our soap is the best for cleaning manginas. Our soap is certified mangina friendly. It's a fucking mad time to be alive. But at least it's funny. So, you know, there is that. Like I said, you've got the bright side, the silver lining to all of these clouds is it is funny, isn't it? If we were back in the 80s where everything was kind of dull and grey and it's the same, it was kind of boring. At least you've never got a shortage of amusing shit to look at, because every time you turn on the TV or the radio or open a newspaper nowadays, there is some mad shit going on. And with that note, let's get started with some of the BBC, shall we? Here's a good one. Would menstrual leave change the workplace? Fuck me. Let's have a look at this one. More and more companies are answering the call to provide period leave. Yet some critics remain skeptical. I wonder fucking why. I wonder why. Let me just instantly, without even reading it, let me just tell you what I would think from the headline if I was a woman over the age of about 40. i.e., not woke, I'd be like, how come my forebears were like working in munitions factories while the Nazis bombed them? Coal, they never used to go into the coal mines, didn't they? But they used to hang about at the entrance to the shaft, like pulling the fucking sacks and stuff. Like, you have these women who, for centuries, again, normal people are the feminists nowadays, who know something about antiquity, who know their history. It's because they're not woke postmodernist scumbags. We are the feminists because we think the reason women deserve respect is because they've always pitched in with the blokes. Obviously, when the famous 300 Spartans and all the hoplites went to like defend the fucking pass against 100,000 Persians at Thermopylae, people are aware that the reason the men used to go is not because of the patriarchy or because they hated women or because some of the women were in a wheelchair and black disabled followers of Alan, so they didn't want to take them because it was prejudice. They used to do it because we know that women needed 10 months, 9 months to bring a child to birth. So therefore, if all your men get twatted and only a small number of them survive, you can still repopulate your tribe or your team. It's the only reason that the women used to stay behind. It's not, well, they're not as physically strong, but in a really bad situation, they would arm women. It happened quite a lot. If you really have to, and you know they're all going to, the enemy's at the gate, fuck it, give the chicks some balls. Like, the word stupid. All of this critical theory just plasters over, thinly veils over reality, and then stick things to the front of it that sounds plausible, but it is. It's like stucco on the front of a building. It's bollocks. And the people who say it know that it's bollocks. But if you were a normal woman who knows anything about history, you know that two very, very obvious points. First of all, women have always had fucking periods, right? First of all. And second of all, despite those periods, women have always fucking pitched in. So thanks to, as always, reality reigning on the BBC's parade, thanks to those two well-known demonstrable facts, yes, some critics remain sceptical. You see photos of women in World War II sitting amongst the rubble of their houses, quietly, stoically getting on with it. You know, the bit that one of the kids might have been killed, husband's off fighting. It's left to the woman to clean the fucking rubble up. And then there's that famous picture of the woman having a cup of tea amongst the rubble. It's like, these are our forebears. These stoic, grim-faced women who would crack on after death and despair and bereavement. And guess what? They got periods too. It's like, nobody even thinks of this stuff because we're not lunatics, but they got periods too. At no point was anyone ever sitting there going, yes, but was she on a period? The house has just been bombed to smithereens, you barmy twats. She's not worried about the fucking period, is she? So let's just, again, morbid curiosity. I love the language, the lingo the BBC use. It's fucking shite. In early 2020, just 3 months into a new job, Jessie, a 28-year-old editor, you knew she'd be an editor, right? You knew it wouldn't be Jessie, a 28-year-old blogger, right? Jessie, a fucking cashier in Greggs. Wasn't going to be that, was it? Jessie, a shelf stacker in Morrison's. No, because those fucking women actually do some work. Jessie is going to be a woke middle-class arsehole. New York City, Jessie's the one who rides the subway to work, gets a maca chai fucking latte, 10 hours in bed, goes on Twitter and Instagram, and then gets on the subway and travels to work in downtown fucking Manhattan, but sees a homeless man, a comatose, degenerate drunk, lost his family, lost his life savings, lost everything, addict, homeless man, and sees him lie there with his legs slightly spread apart because he's fucked and he's got nothing. And he's almost comatose from the narcotics and drink that he imbibes to make his life fucking bearable. And she's the one who takes the photograph and starts a viral campaign on Twitter against man-spreading. Because that's actually what happened. If anyone doesn't know what I'm talking about, fucking Google that one. manspreading. Manspreading. That whole phenomenon was started by some woke middle-class arsehole who works in Manhattan and starts every day with a trip to fucking Starbucks and hasn't got a callus on those well-manicured hands. But she's seen a homeless bloke asleep with his legs slightly spread, and she starts the hashtag manspreading as if she's the victim in that scenario. She's the victim in that scenario. It's if it wasn't so offensive to anybody who has any regard for truth and empathy for people that are struggling, it'd be hilarious, wouldn't it? It'd be hilarious that these people are so fucking awful. They're just awful people. So you knew before you even started reading it that Jessie was going to be an editor in New York City. She wasn't going to be a checkout girl in fucking Aldi. Well, you just knew it. Anyway, rant over. Let's crack on. Oh God, is Jessie a pronoun one as well? It says they knew their period was probably going to start that day, and that they'd likely endure some pain, but they needed to be at the office to film a video, especially because their team was short-staffed. Seriously, because I wasn't like, well, I'm never planning this shit, writing a script or anything. All I do is quickly have a skim read. I didn't actually read this fucking story, but I just knew because it was on the BBC from today. I just knew it was going to be a fucking train wreck. And look at that. So Jessie is probably Johnny. It might be like a phantom menstruation. Fuck me backwards. You couldn't make it up, could you? Jessie is a fucking Jessie. Yeah, that's absolutely shocking. So you knew Jessie would be a 28-year-old editor. You knew she... I'm worried about getting in trouble with YouTube now. You knew Jessie would be living in New York City, and you fucking knew Jessie, they would know that their period was probably going to start that day. You knew it, didn't you? Like I said, it wasn't going to be Sandra, 28, from fucking Hartlepool, checkout girl in Aldi, was it? They decided not to call in sick. I just don't think a period counts as a sickness. They say. They say. What do they say? Tell me what they say. No, Jessie's one person. Like, if you even have some regard for the English language, the fucking shit they write nowadays, it must make you sick. Chaucer, Shakespeare. This is our beautiful flowery language. And they have fucking destroyed it. When I say they, I don't mean the walk. I mean this balmy twat. Fucking Jessie. It's you, Jessie. They fuck everything up. What, the walk? No. They decided not to call in sick. I just don't think a period counted. Well, neither did Margaret Thatcher, you fucking silly twat. And she used to get 4 hours sleep. Although, to be fair, I think come the end, Thatcher definitely fucking dried up. It was like a month-old scone down there. But I'm sorry for alluding towards Thatcher's minge. I know that's very lowbrow humour. Yeah, it doesn't. And me granny wouldn't think it counts as a sickness. And me mum wouldn't. And 99% of the fucking population wouldn't, because they're not ridiculous. So when Jessie began feeling pain in their lower abdomen and their lower back, how many backs have they got? They took ibuprofen and tried to get back to work. But within 15 minutes, their body seemed heavy and tense, and they felt weak. I was blacking out. Fucking hell. I know a bloke who got one bollock ripped off while playing rugby. And not only did he not black out, he finished the fucking game. Everything was blurry and I couldn't respond. They were helped to a couch where they lay in a fetal position until a health and safety officer... Oh, problem solved, lads. The health and safety officer's here to do less than fuck all. And send them to hospital in an ambulance. What a fucking waste of it. I'll tell you what, the fact that they ended up in the back of a bastard ambulance is another nail in the coffin for the NHS. You know why the NHS is fucked? because these cunts, singular, ring ambulances because they say, oh, I feel a bit dicky. I'm on the blob. Well, every woman's on the bastard blob once a month. How many of them ring ambulances? You histrionic, hysterical walk twat. Jesus Christ. Jessie didn't want the ambulance. They just wanted a fucking month off paid. If Jessie had had an employer-sponsored entitlement, they say they would feel more comfortable taking time off or working from home when they're in pain. Working from home. Innit? It's just, you knew it was going to come down to that. What have we said? It's the fucking bone idle generation. Any excuse to not go to bastard work. This benefit does exist for all that. Jessie, they are in fucking New York City, so them was, I mean, sorry, I get confused when I'm using their language. They is confused now. They got that in ambulance together. At least it was in New York, so it's not costing us any money when they have a head full of fresh air. So, I know, Kate, some women do, but what I'm saying is, again, in the 50s and the 60s and the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, women suffered from pains and cramps, but they fucking got on with it, didn't they? And they didn't refer to themselves as them. It's just bollocks. I know it happens. And again, I'm sure this is why. Do you know what the real crux of it is, right? I'll rephrase. I'll take a step back. So the reason I'm mocking this is not because I don't think some women can have extremely bad period pains. I'm well aware of the fundamentals of medicine. The fundamentals, the basic. I did a fucking first aid course in the car. I'm not, I'm not fucking Doogie Howser, but I know the basics. And I'm well aware that some women can have extremely bad period pains. But the fact that everybody nowadays is a chancer is so detrimental to society. And I've talked about it many, many times, and this is related to it. Because everybody's a chancer and they're always trying to take the piss, it makes you not have any sympathy for genuine cases. We've talked about with rape cases before, like, because so many women get seen in a nightclub necking on with a footballer, get seen in the elevator giving him a fucking Tommy tank, get seen necking on with him in the back of a taxi, get seen getting out of the taxi and going to his hotel with him, then get seen going back to the taxi to get their handbag and the pizza that they forgot, and then the next morning go, oh yeah, he raped me for a couple of seconds after I did the dance with the striptease and the cucumber. People have no sympathy for rapists, like rape victims, because now they instantly think, was she really a victim of a rape, a helpless victim of rape, or is she a chancer taking the piss? Same with racism. There are occasions where some poor bastard will get genuinely fucked over by an actual racist. I mean, they're a tiny number, again, in this day and age, because everyone throws it around willingly. There's a tiny, tiny number of people that actually are so illogical that they would genuinely hate someone just because of what their ethnicity is, or the race. Tiny number of people. But on the off chance they do meet someone like that and they get fucked over instantly now, because everybody just plays the race card on a fucking whim. Instantly people hear it and just go, it's bollocks. Bollocks. A friend of mine's landlord in London, he says he has a nightmare. Like, some dude was texting him, he was showing me the text saying, like, oh, you say you want your rent paying because I'm 2 weeks late, but to be honest, I'm starting to feel a little bit, this is a bit race-based. It's like, stop being a twat. There's some people out there that might lose out to a job they should have got, or might get fucked over in some way by some bigoted prick. And you make it impossible for those people to get any fucking sympathy or fair treatment because you're a chancer. And with so many things nowadays, it seems like 9 out of 10 issues of any instance, whether it's prejudice or bigotry or homophobia or any form of what would you call it? It's not even, because it's not just homophobia or prejudice based on race or ethnicity or religion. It's any form of mistreatment, any form of unfair treatment based off any immutable characteristic. Most people now just go, yeah, cheers. You just instantly assume that the person is taking the piss, because nowadays, we've just got a generation of fucking woke chancers who just don't want to do any work, and they'll say and do anything to get out of it. It says menstrual leave has existed in various forms for at least a century. but it's still rare in many large global economies, including the US, where Jessie lives. If widely introduced, women, transgender, and non-binary workers who menstruate stand to gain. So they couldn't even leave that. It couldn't just be, if widely introduced, women stand to gain. It has to be, everything has to be couched in fucking woke gobbledygook. They would have direct pathways to rest when they needed it most, be happier and more productive at work, and find it easier to remain in the labour market. Yet since menstrual leave has entered the global zeitgeist, why has it entered the global zeitgeist? Why? If this was the 80s and we were talking about it, probably everybody would be cool with it, because you'd assume that everyone who's claiming that they need it would be fucking a worthy recipient of it, wouldn't you? But these are the times we live in. You've made me this way. You've made society this way. Everybody now just assumes woke chancer, don't care. And why has it entered the global zeitgeist? Let's press this. Can period leave ever work? Can it? Can if everybody's not an arsehole. Counterproductive. Yeah. So we're expected to pull ourselves up by the bootstraps and go to work. Yeah, welcome to humanity. Again, who's the feminist here? Because people on our side of the political spectrum seem to be like, yeah, pull yourself up and go to fucking work. The same people are going about how women are strong and tough and hard and independent with fucking nails. Let's put a woman in every film kicking the shit. A little fucking 105-pound midget beating the piss out of 20 blokes at once. But by the way, I feel a bit sick. Got to have a month off. Make your mind up. Do you want people to think of you as the type of people that will pull yourselves up by your bootstraps and go to work? Or do you want to play the victim constantly? Pick one. You can't play the victim constantly and be a cringing, pathetic, whiny fucking loser 24/7. But then when it suits you, go, oh yeah, but strong and independent girlfriend. Like, pick one. You can't be a whiny pussy all the fucking time. And then when it suits you, tell me how much of a badass you are. That's not how it works. It's not how it works. I get to talk like I'm a fucking badass because I've been a civilian for 10 years and I've had about fucking, in fact, I've never had a sick day, I don't think. No, I haven't. Once I got really bad injury. Well, not really bad. I badly sprained my ankle playing footy. And I couldn't walk for like 3 days. So I rang my boss at work, told him in good time and said, can you just put me 3 days holiday? I didn't want to use my sick pay. This is when I was working at the council as well. And fucking hell, you can just do what? That ginger mutant I was telling you guys about last week and take fucking 6 months off on full pay. I put 3 days holiday in out of pride. I've never had a sick day in like 10 years. So I'm allowed to say, yeah, I'm a fucking tough guy. I'll pull myself up by my bootstraps and I'll go to work. You don't get to gob off all fucking year about how nails you are. Oh, yeah, women are fucking nails. And then as soon as you're having a bit of a bad day, oh, I need a couple of weeks off. I've got menstrual pain. Pick one. And I reserve the right to call you a fucking wimp if you are a wimp. Again, it's quite a liberal way of viewing the world, isn't it? Because I take everybody as an individual. Some women are rock and never complain about fuck all and just get on with it. So I'm not having to pop at women. I'm having to pop at woke, middle class, typically white, Guardian reading women that talk shit constantly and gob off about how hard they are when really they're as soft as a second-hand arsehole. That's who I'm having a pop at. Any of you wokies in the fucking chat, oh my God, misogyny. No, I'm not having to go at women. I'm having to go at the small percentage of middle-class woke white women that are soft as fucking shite and do nothing but complain constantly. While the little fucking Mexican women out here, I see them tilling the fields for 12 hours a day. You don't see them whinging about the fucking menstruation. It's always a Jessie in Manhattan. It's never a fucking Jacinda who's just spent 10 hours pulling taties out the ground in blistering sun in July in California. It's always a fucking Jessie with they, them pronouns in a Manhattan office, an editor at the New York Times. Suck my fucking stump, Jessie. Some women cruise through theirs and others experience a range of taxing side effects. Yeah, again, we know the science. We're expected to pull ourselves up by the bootstraps and go to work when we're literally losing blood. Yeah, small amounts of blood. I seen a bloke get shot in the arse and carry on jogging away from the scene and then casually walk onto the Chinook and say, yes, I need an immediate medical attention. I've got 2 pints of fucking blood in me boot. So, yes, Chloe. Chloe will be an editor as well. Chloe will be a social media influencer from San Francisco. She won't be a fucking shelf stacker in Aldi, will she? Victoria Trust in Melbourne, Australia. Yeah, Melbourne, Australia. Wonder what it's like. Wonder what the average woman fucking does for a living there. Said 83% said their work was negatively affected, and this tends to be exasperated in the absence of a menstrual leave scheme. Fuck. Again, you don't need a scheme, do you? Let's just. I'm sick of talking about this fucking bollocks. We know what they're all going. We know what the type of women are whinging about are going to be like. We know they're all going to be woke. We know they're all going to be middle class assholes. The point I would get at is simply this, right? You don't need menstrual leave because, like everything nowadays, we bifurcate, trifurcate, whatever. We split it up not just into two. That's the incorrect use of the term bifurcate. We separate everything out into myriad branches when you don't need them. It's how we've the intersectional umbrella, the fucking LGBT club. So yeah, you don't need that, do you? In the old days, it was LGBT because that basically involves everyone. Lesbian, gay, bi, and trans basically includes everyone. You can call yourself Q plus AIA, but you fall under the umbrella. You can just have LGB, really. You don't need all the extra letters, and that's just more of this because you don't need menstrual leave. Think about it. If you're a good worker and your manager knows you're a fucking good worker, if you're a normal working class lass and you just get on with it, and then occasionally you're in genuine pain because of your period, your manager will be sound as fuck. All managers, I'm in my 40s now, I'm a fucking manager, I've done plenty of managing. No, you're good employees and you're bad employees, and if you've got a good employee who you know you can rely on and who isn't a twat, when they come in and say, I'm having real issues with my period, you'll say, take as much time as you need. Won't you? You don't need it to have its special little name. Everything has to get a special little name nowadays. If you've got a good employee and she's having an issue, then you won't mind when she takes some time off. You'll say, yeah, it's fine. I'll get someone to cover for you. But if you've got a twat, a woke, fucking self-serving, hand-wringing, cringing, lefty guardian reading shitbag who comes in and plays the fucking game and plays the fucking victim just after she's talked about, give some diatribe about how hard and tough and nails women are and better than men and do everything much better. You'll say, jog on, love. You're a piss taker. You're a shit employee. All you do is fucking whine. You're always late. You're always on your fucking phone. You suck. So fucking do one. If you don't want to come to work because your fucking minge is fucking bothering you, well, just don't bother coming back because you're shit. Right? The team works. The team works. And you know if you've got a good employer, a good employee, you look after them and you don't need to worry about menstrual leave. You just give them some time off, won't you? Easy. So, another problem solved by the bootneck. Easy. We don't need menstrual leave. Sorted. We just have, what have we got now? We've got sick leave. And if you're a good employee, you'll get sick leave and your boss will have no problems with it at all. Even if it's because your beef curtains are fucking hanging out, right? Even if it's like a punched lasagna down there and you're fucking absolute baggage for the day. If you're a good employee, your boss will say, fucking hell, Sarah, you're one of our best employees. It's been months since you've had a sick day and you're always on time. So take a week off and see to your fucking gusset. There'll be no issues, will there? There'll be none. I wouldn't have any issues at all with a good female employee. If you come out and said I've got fucking issues with me wizard sleeve, I'd be like, I don't really want to talk about your fucking gash. You take a week off, love. All right? You're a good lass. You're a good lass. I'll see you in a week. See you later. So you don't need fucking menstrual leave, do you? Easy. Easy. It's sorted. So again, non-story. Are they going to prove it's Rag Week? Yeah, we'll see. I've talked about that one. When they come out with all these trivialities, how are they going to prove it? I remember when they changed the law, I think I was still in the car when they said if you were married, men, you could get a grot on the married patch. Because I don't know how many of you were in the military, but basically the accommodation's shit in the military. You've got this we had to live 6 of us in We had to live 6 of us in a proper shitty little flat at Norton Manor Camp. But if you're married, because they encourage marriage in the military, because they know if you have a kid who's a patch brat, he's more likely to join the military. So they encourage you getting married. And when they passed the whole gay marriage thing, they were like, "Oh yeah, 2 blokes can get a house on the married patch, and it'd be way better." So instead of living in a 6-man flat, and then it was an 8-man flat because we got another company added. So they gutted the TV room in his tiny little flat. And the next thing, there's 8 blokes in there. So 8 blokes sharing a kitchen that's fucking minuscule and 1 shower and 2 toilets in an 8-man flat. And that's how we had to live. But if you were married, you could get a nice semi-detached house on the married patch. So me and my mate Clemmy were joking about it, saying like, couldn't we just tell them we're married? I would stop you again though. When you're not a wanker, you don't like taking the piss, do you? But loads of people are doing it now. Just go see the CEO and say, "Oh yeah, we need a married patch, sir." Why? Well, we're gay, aren't we? Are you? Yeah, definitely. We love cock, don't we, Clemmy? Yeah, I fucking love cock. Yeah, mega into it. He's not going to make you prove it, is he? Imagine the CEO's like, "I don't believe you." Oh yeah. What's he going to do? He'll get the military police in. Go on then, wank him off. He's there. I'll sign this as long as you give him a fucking topless hand shandy in front of the CEO. So you just take your shirt off and fucking go to town. Yeah, come on, you can't. Imagine that. I mean, how much do you want the house? If you really want to get out of that 8-man flat, you'd be like, "Motherfucker," probably try and get it over as fast as you can because you don't actually want to touch your mate's cock. So you're like, next thing his pubes are smouldering. It's like, fucking get the mountain leaders in. We can start a small fire off his shaft. So like, yeah, that's fucking mad. If you're a chancer, you can get away with anything. So there's that. Anyway, I'm going to leave it early today because I'm going shopping with my missus. It's Thursday. So yeah, fuck yous. I'm leaving. Go to cash converters. Didn't cash converters go bankrupt? We used to, and there was one cash converter in Borough. Everyone used to call it smack generator. It was called cash generator. We used to call it smack generator because everything in there was fucking burgled. Anyway, ladies and gents, I'm going to call it early because I've got shit to do. Thanks for watching. I will do something tomorrow if I can be asked. And yeah, I'll talk to you then. I nearly said have a good weekend, but it's only fucking Thursday. Time flies when you're having fun. All right, ladies and gents, a funny, yeah. I promise, John, I'll try and leave cock out of the conversation tomorrow. See you later. Cheers.